If you're a coach who identifies as an introvert and you hate the idea of putting yourself out there on social media, you're uncomfortable with the idea of showing your life, I can tell you Substack might be the perfect spot for you. In this episode, I'm bringing on my friend Gail. She's going to talk to you about her journey through coaching and now as a Substack coach and expert. Let's get started. Welcome, welcome. I am so excited today to introduce you to Gail Keyes-Allen. She is a Substack coach, a friend, a fellow life coach school coach, and so many other things. Gail, welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
So tell us your backstory about how you got into coaching.
You don't know this, but I got certified as a health coach. The school that I went to in the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, they didn't really teach you much about coaching. They mostly taught you about nutrition. So when I got my certification, I was scared to death to get on a call with anybody. And I couldn't sell. I was so insecure about it. I was working in corporate, but doing that part-time. And it just fizzled out. I stopped doing it. And that was 2015. And probably by 2017, maybe I had just stopped coaching. But then it was always in my soul. I'm a coach. It's meant for me to do this. And I started listening to the Life Coach School podcast. So that was around 2018. And I was still in my corporate job, miserable. I was an accountant. I sit in my office playing Brooke Castillo's podcast, dreaming of how am I going to escape from this corporate job. And then she started self-coaching scholars. So that
Uh-huh.
was when I dipped my toe in, but I really wanted to be certified, but it was 18,000 back then. And I kept telling myself, cannot spend 18,000 on a certification. It's irresponsible. I have to save for retirement. I'm too close, all the mind drama. And I got on a call with one of Brooks' coaches, and I was getting coached through scholars. I was telling her I really wanted to get certified, but I was afraid to spend the money and where would I get it and all the things. At the time, I was in my early 60s, but she was in her early 70s. And she told me, she just looked at me and said, "What if your coaching business was your retirement plan?" And it was just like, what? That blew my mind. So from that point on, I was like, I'm going to figure it out and got certified in 2020 during the pandemic. And from that point on, I was just hell bent on getting out of my job. So I hired a life coach school coach who was helping other people quit their jobs to become a coach, which was so wild. So I hired her. I gave myself 6 months, and in 4 months, I quit my job. I decided to sell a group coaching package, and
Yeah.
I made $23,000. And I was still on my job, and that was from one group coaching program. So at that point, I just said, if I can make $23,000 off of one program, I certainly can figure this out. And quit my job. May 21st, 2021 was my last day. It's been on and popping since then.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun. So we are going to talk a lot about Substack because that is Gail's really sweet spot now. But I do want to talk all about the coaching that she's done because she has had an incredible journey and really you've been wildly successful in many different stages. But let's get back to your coaching at the Life Coach School. What do you think that learning coaching, learning about the method that we know, which is looking at your
Right.
thoughts, thinking about your thoughts, what do you think
Yeah.
that that opened up for you just in general?
Everything, like an open portal to the world,
Uh-huh.
because it gave me the missing piece. For most of my adult life, I kept feeling like there's something missing. I had everything society says you should have, the big house and cars. I was married for 20 years and had a great job and all the things. But in my soul, I knew something was missing. And it just opened everything up to me. But also, it gave me peace because that was the first time I learned I didn't have to believe everything I was thinking, which
Yes.
just blew my mind.
You don't have to believe everything you're thinking. Yes,
Yes.
that sums it up. Both
Right.
you and I both help people in their businesses. I'm thinking about people who go to start their business. They get on social media. No, wait, stop. They don't get on social media. They get on social media. The common story is, I don't want to have to put myself out there. Everybody's going to see, like, there's stalkers out there. Like, the whole world's going to be talking about me. And the stories that
Yes.
we tell ourselves about it are unbelievable. And one thought that I like to think is social media is access to the world for free.
Yes. But you know what? I've seen a lot lately. People say I'm a private person. So they don't want access to the world for free because they've been in corporate
That's true.
and they've had to be under the radar. So they have to really retrain themselves to even be themselves, which I get it because I was kind of like that. But when I became a health coach, I had a coach, and my coach forced me to get on Instagram. She was like, you have to get on Instagram. I don't care what you post. You could just post green smoothies. And that's where I dipped my toe in back then. So I've been talking to a lot of people lately on welcome calls I'm doing, and so many of them are professionals, PhDs, MDs, but they all say, I'm a very private person. I just don't know how I could do that. And oh, and what if my family finds out who the real me is? I even had someone say, I'm very woo-woo. What if my family finds out? I said, let your family find out who the real you is.
Yeah. Yeah. Private, another word for that might be I'm an introvert because that's also what people say. And I'm like, look, it
Yes,
might look like I'm an extrovert and I think I'm both, but in reality, what you're saying is I don't want to walk into a room of people I don't know and have to talk. Nobody wants to do that. So we could all say we're introverts, right? I mean, it's the same as I want to be private, but it's interesting that they pick a business where they are the business and
right.
yet they don't want to talk about themselves.
And I used the analogy yesterday. I said, when you watch television, commercial after commercial, you could repeat the commercials from the different companies. You want to be in other people's brains like the commercials are. If you're hiding, nobody's going to come to your door and knock on your door like, hi, are you selling something that I can buy? They're not. You have to get out in the world. You have to talk to people online. If you don't, you're not going to make money.
I want to hear the story about your coaching before we get into Substack because
Mhm.
I have watched you from a distance and all the things that you have done. Tell us about your journey through coaching over the last few years.
Oh, it's been really wild because when I first quit my job, I quit my job in May 2021. In 2022, I made 300,000. In my job, I was making 110, something like
Hmm.
that. So to go from that to 300 in a year, first of all, blew my mind.
Hmm.
So to go from being like feeling like you're locked up in a box in a corporate office to being free in the world, I traveled. I mean, I just was living my life to the fullest. You know, you're in corporate, you only have a limited amount of time you can take off. So after that year, someone pretty big name was promoting me because I had been in her program and she still does have a big name podcast. So she interviewed me as a success story from her program and put me on her podcast. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't even know that was going to happen. So that's what really introduced the world to me. She was doing even these best of podcasts where I'm next to Tony Robbins in the artwork for the podcast. It was all these big name people, and then here I am. So it really elevated me in a lot of ways. But what I didn't realize is once she stopped promoting me, I didn't have my own community and things just slowed down, almost came to a screeching halt. So then that was a whole nother piece of my journey, like feeling shame. And I've gotten coached a lot around this,
Yeah.
feeling the shame of not repeating that $300,000 year. And I was telling myself, which is a thought error, that I didn't know how I made the money. I was just coaching. I was just signing people up and coaching, but I tell people I didn't have a strategy. I followed my soul.
Yeah.
And so when I started getting coached around the shame And what went on, my coach asked me, well, what were you doing to make the 300K? And I told her I was doing free master classes and coaching people for free. And then they were hiring me. I was just doing my thing, right? And she said, that's how you scale. Go back to that. And as soon as I started going back to that, my business started growing again. After things being really slow, I was just like, I'm going back to the old way. So I started selling one-off sessions first for $100, and I used to charge 15K for 6 months. But I wasn't able to work with the people that I really had a heart for at that 15K rate. So I just started selling one-off $100 sessions. And then in the session, I would say to people, we made so much progress. Do you want to continue to work with me? Yes. So I started just selling 3 month packages instead of 6 months. And then people would re-sign. And then I stopped so much doing the one-off sessions and started selling more one-on-one. But this is where Substack comes in.
And she's a
Um,
Substack star, you guys. Everybody needs to tune in now and listen.
Yeah, it's decisions. Last year when we had a change in presidents, I was getting so frustrated about all the noise on Facebook and Instagram, and it just felt very yucky. I really wanted to quit social media, but then in the back of my mind, I'm like, how can I quit social media and still have my business be viable? So, an author that I follow, she was writing her new book and she said, I'm going to be introducing my new book on Substack, each chapter, like every month or something like that. I can't remember. So I just signed up to read her book. And then when I got on there, I was like, oh, this is pretty interesting. So when I was so frustrated with traditional social media, I just said, I'm going to go on Substack. And from now on, I'm a coach and a writer. And I literally decided that is my new identity. And I am really into future self and creating your identity intentionally. And so I went on there and I just was like showing up, writing, telling my stories. And I got on there in February. So it's been what, 18 months, 19.
Yeah.
So it was pretty slow until May. And then I put a picture of myself in my 40s and a picture of myself in my 60s and said, reinvention is always an option. And then I just had a short little caption saying, at 49, I was picking myself up off the floor after finding out my ex-husband was having an affair. At 59, I think I said I was out there dating, still trying to find myself. But then I was getting ready to turn 69. And this is what 69 is all about. I'm recreating my life. I got 922 subscribers that month.
I want to get into the details of this. Were you doing
Hmm.
like one article a week, which is a post? It's like a blog post essentially for the people who don't know, one
Right.
a week. And were you doing notes every day?
I might have had 2,000, but I had brought over part of my list from Flowdesk. So I had probably gained maybe 600 or so subscribers in that 3 months, something like that. The name of my Substack, so people know, is the Old Black Lady Chronicles. That wasn't the name at the beginning. It was something having to do with freedom or being free as a woman and reinventing yourself, something like that. And I changed over the name to the Old Black Lady Chronicles and dug really deep into telling stories that are pretty out of the box. My life has been pretty out of the box, I would say.
Mhm.
And so the month I turned 69 and I started talking about being 69, it just started picking up momentum. And oh, and what I did do in that month of May, I decided to do a series. So I said, I'm going to teach women over 50 how to glow up. And so I did 5 YouTube videos, Monday through Friday, 5 YouTube videos and 5 articles that week. And I put the video in the article so that the people on Substack could go to my YouTube or the people on YouTube could go to my Substack. And that month, not only did I get 922 subscribers, I made $16,000 from on one-on-one coaching clients. From just writing about my life and telling my stories and putting a call to action at the end of the articles. I wasn't even doing free trainings at that time.
I just want to highlight what she said because this is an important piece. She said, I decided I was a coach and a writer, and that for sure set the course of where you are right now. But so many people, Gail, that we know never make a decision. They never decide, like, this is it. I'm drawing a line in the sand. I'm not
Right,
messing around anymore. I have a business. I always tell people, like, you're not a coach, you're the CEO of a coaching company. You have a
right.
business. Like, show up like you have a business. And they're like,
Yes.
oh, you're right. I have a business, right? So you became a writer. You started writing. Okay, so May, you did all this private coaching. Kind of tell us what happened since that time.
Yeah, since that time I still was focused on private coaching clients, getting consults, the whole thing, but it was still hit or miss. But I was growing on Substack. And at one point, I was kind of afraid to advertise my coaching too much on Substack because I had been told they frown on it. I don't know if that's true or not. So what happened was around October, maybe, I had signed up for this woman's Substack, and she's like a Substack expert and has a lot of followers. But I had signed up for her class, and she was following me and reached out to me and saw my growth and said, you write such magnetic Substack notes. Would you be interested in coming and teaching that in a boot camp to my community? So that was October. So that's what I did. So I created this presentation on how to write magnetic Substack notes. And I just leaned into what I know and what I've been doing and did that. And then more people started knowing who I was. So fast forward to early this year, she asked me, would I come teach her community again? But also another coach asked me to come to a conference she was having and talk about Substack. And I just was sitting here at my desk thinking, this is crazy. And I know this might sound wild to people, but it was almost like God hit me in the back of the head and said, what are you doing? Like, that's the knowing I had. Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? They're seeing you as a Substack expert, and you're not even seeing yourself as a Substack expert. So it was just like an aha moment. And that was in March, this year, March. And within 10 days, I had planned out a course. I planned out a free training. I got 100 people signed up for the free training and all of that within 10 days. And I decided I'm teaching a Substack lab. And like I said, within 10 days, I had decided, and within 3 weeks, I had made 17,000 in 3 weeks on with a $197 offer. So that's the other thing. My strategy, which I haven't really talked much about, but my strategy is for the lab and any low ticket upsell people. So people paid for the lab, which was 197, and then I offered 1 hour VIP session,
I
which
did
was
that.
180.
My lab was, I think it was 247. Is that right? Because the
Yes,
price went up
because
the second time.
yes.
And then I added on the call because I was like, why would I not have a private call with Gail? Yeah.
So that lab got 36 people. And then cohort two, I just kept inching up. And then after 5 days into launching, the price went up to 297 plus the upgrades. And some people I upgraded to one-on-one also once they got on their welcome call. So that's how I was able to get up to 17,000. The first cohort was 36 people. The second cohort was people. Now we're in going into the third week of the third cohort, and there's 40 people. I've made about $54,000 in 3 months with low ticket.
Which is so different than the culture that you and I came from. And I also think what I am seeing is that it's a unique thing on Substack that what is being offered there are lower ticket, shorter, more intensive. Like we're not trying to build the bridge. We're just going to put up
Right.
the pillars. That's it. Step
Yes.
one, we're going to do this. And the entry
Yes.
point is accessible.
Yes. And that's why I went into something more low ticket because most people on Substack sell subscriptions and they're $10, $7. I can't pay my mortgage off of that. How can you live off of that? So a lot of the bigger name people will sell a master class for $25 or something like that. But even at that, I was just like, that's really no money. How am I going to make a decent amount of money and serve people? So that's why I came up with the lab because, first of all, it has grown my community over about 115 people in 3 months that are
Mhm.
warm because those are all people that I'm teaching and it's accessible. So what I'm finding too is a lot of professional women have been laid off, lost their
Mhm.
jobs, or some people are semi-retired or starting to retire, and they're not going to pay someone 15,000 for coaching or 10, but they'll pay 197 or 297. And when you start adding up the numbers, it makes sense. So the other fascinating thing that I'm finding now, a lot of people that are joining my labs have been following me since 2015 when I was a health coach. Because I've been getting on calls and I'm saying, how did you find me? They're like, you won't believe this. I knew you since back then. Yes, so now people are feeling like this is something I can afford. This is something I can do. This is something that's more comfortable for me. A lot of people are leery of Facebook now and want to move on to Substack. So it's really blown my mind. But this message is for everybody who thinks they have to do things a certain way. No, for me, I learned that way and then I made it my own. We all have teachers. Yes, we all need teachers. But then you get the education and you practice and then you turn it into what you want it to be. That to me is a CEO move.
Yeah. So, Gail, you touched on something that I'd love to talk about for just a moment. The coaching school that we came from, this woman, Brooke Castillo, genius woman, she made like $50 million. I know somebody that's
A
being talked
year
about
though,
that made,
make sure
yeah,
you
and
tell
Brooke
people
made
that's
that in a
a
year.
year.
She made over that in 1 year. And the year before it was like 47 or 42. The year before it was like 37. I
Right.
mean, we're talking about gigantic numbers, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars this
Millions.
woman
Right.
made selling coaching. And I say all that to say she helped us understand that anything was possible. And she had this
Yes.
unique thing where she gave you $100,000 award. I know you have, I don't think I have mine up there, but I know you have them too. It's like when you earn $100,000, you got this Tiffany thing, and people
Right.
wanted that. It was the smartest move. They were going
Yes.
for that. The ticket price for everybody's coaching was elevated because hers was. And
Right.
I think that went on until she retired, basically. But it feels like
Yeah.
there's been a shift in
There
that.
definitely has been a shift,
Yeah.
but look at the shift she made. Let's talk about that. Now
Yeah.
she has a yearly program for 597, $7, whereas we used to pay 297 a month for her scholars. I paid her $5,000 just for maybe like a 10-week course, the reinvention, and
Yeah.
now she's selling a whole year once a week for $597. I'm taking notes. I'm looking at a lot of these bigger name people that are charging lower ticket. If you and I wanted to sell a 1 year program, 597 might not make us the money that we want to make, but 1200, because what I'm seeing now is you start getting the volume.
Yes.
So you extend it and you start getting the volume and you can still make the same amount of money. I like the volume personally because I'm exposed to so many more people and I'm building community. Whereas when I was doing just one person at a time, I did get up to 18 one-on-one at one time. That was exhausting,
Yeah, it
really
is
exhausting.
more than what you
So
think. Yeah.
yes. So for me now, I work 3 days a week. Now I do other paperwork here and there,
Yeah.
but I have a full day on Monday, a full day on Tuesday, and a full day on Thursday. And when I say full day, like 10 to 7 with
Uh-huh.
breaks in between.
Yeah.
And I still made what some people make in a yearly salary. I made it in 3 months.
Yeah.
So, and I'm 70 years old. It still blows my mind because people think life is over at this age. So the fact that I'm doing this, it beats the odds.
So let's talk about Substack because maybe it's just me. And let me just be clear. I took Gail's class, but I have applied nothing that she's taught me. My defense is I have a very thriving coaching business already, and I have a lot on my plate. And I think about it every day is that it is the gateway to the next place for me. I'd love to talk about who you think Substack is for, like all the coaches that are listening. Listen up, and
Hmm.
Gail's going to tell you if you're the person who should be on Substack. So, who's it for, and who is on Substack? Who's the readers?
Yeah, I would say it's for the people that are loving longer form content or relationship with other people on social media, because that is what I feel like is really different on Substack. It's much easier to develop a deeper relationship with people, and I think some of it has to do with the fact that it's long form, so it's not like a quick reel here and there. If you want that viral, high intensity, that's not the place. This is
Uh-huh.
more, this is so funny. I never thought of this analogy, but this is for the people that love reading, love the library, love the bookstore, like people that are like curious and very smart. That's what I've found with most of the
Yeah.
people. That's what I really found. And the library, like I love the library, I love the bookstore. That's been my jam since I was a kid. And I think it fulfills that. And also, I love people that are creative. There's a lot of creative and bigger thinkers on there. And there are a lot of big name people that have moved to Substack too. So I think if you loved the blogging days, if you
Uh-huh.
like going a little bit deeper than just a reel that you can't even follow the words, you have to keep repeating it. If you want something deeper and a deeper connection with people, I really think that's the place. And I do think it trends to be people a little bit older, maybe
Yeah, I think
40.
so.
I would
Hmm.
say 40 and up, probably. So also, I would say people 40 and up. I don't see a lot of young, really young people on Substack, which is fine with me. I just view it as really like, and you heard me say this before, like moving to a new city and you're like the new kid and you get to recreate yourself. As the authority, you show up in a different way. When you claim that you're an authority, you show up like an expert and people see you as an expert, which what I find with a lot of people, coaches specifically, because I deal with a lot of coaches or people that desire to be a coach. They think I'm a newbie. I don't really know that much. Kind of like imposter syndrome thing. And they show up with it. So I was just teaching the other day, if you show up with that energy, people are not going to take you seriously. You have to show up like, I know my stuff. I'm going to teach it to other people. I'm going to share my knowledge and step into that authority. That's the biggest thing that I think is missing with people. And I think that will lead you to much greater success. Not even just Substack, though. When you claim your authority, it's not just claiming it on Substack. You can claim your authority everywhere. Your personal life, when you go networking outside, when you're on Instagram. Oh, we didn't even talk about my TikTok,
I want to
but
hear
when you're
about that too.
yeah, when you're on TikTok or anywhere, if you show up like you know your stuff, people are going to tune in, like it gets their attention. When you show up like, well, I kind of know, but I'm not sure, and who's going to take me seriously? I hear that kind of stuff all the time, but that is not showing up as the CEO of your business. Oh, this is what I hear a lot too. What if someone asks me something I don't can't answer?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I've never really had that happen. If it's something that's not in my lane, I will tell them that's really not something in my lane or something I'm an expert at, or give them a resource or something.
Yeah. And I always say, like, there is this thing where you can say, you know what, that's interesting. I don't know. Let me get back to you.
So I've done that where it's like, let me look it up Because I'm not sure, and I don't want to tell you. I think people worry about the wrong things, but also I don't blame them because we've
Yeah.
been programmed to, from the time we were children, to sit down, follow the rules, stand in line, be quiet, all of these things. As a woman, I just remember as a young lady, my mother used to always say, close your legs and just be a lady. And I remember like trying to keep my legs closed and you'd have your little dress on. And I just remember like, oh, I have to be a lady. I have to be a good girl. We're taught these things and then we become these adults that are still buying into that. And I
Yeah.
think that's a big piece of it. So much of this is about stepping into the so identity and letting go of that corporate mess that we were trained on. I say it's unbrainwashing yourself
Yeah.
because we have literally been brainwashed and told what to think, how to behave, what hours to work, when you can take lunch. If you think about it, we've just been told get in line, follow the rules. And then you in your business, it's like, oh, what do you want to do? And then people are like, I don't know.
Okay, so I want to make sure before we wrap up, what is it that you do to help people get started on Substack? Who should be working with you? I'll leave all the links, all the details. You also offer private coaching, and I have been coached by Gail, so I do know that her private coaching is good. But tell us how somebody would work with you and who should work with you.
Yeah, who should work with me is someone that has experience. So I help women turn their experience into something they can monetize. So you don't necessarily have to be a coach, but we all have monetizable experience. I just believe that everyone should have an additional stream of money because I say these jobs ain't loyal. And even if you don't have a job, you might just want travel money, anything that you where you want additional income. So I help experts step into their authority. That's a big piece with me because if you step on Substack, let's say Substack specifically, in your authority, you will start to gain traction. So that's really where we start. Whatever it is you're interested in, so many people have a passion or a purpose that they're not living in. This is your opportunity to live into it and not feel like it has to be something professional. We talk about mindset, money, how to write your article specifically on Substack, how to write your Substack notes, be a better writer, but it boils down to stepping into your position as an authority. I feel very strongly that is what leads you. And then the money piece, we get into that. So right now, I do one-on-one coaching, and then my lab is called the Seen, Heard, Bankable Substack Lab. But what you don't know is I'm launching a new course that starts next month called From Quiet to Cash. And so it's like the next step. So you're being seen as an authority, you're showing up, people are hearing your voice. In the bankable part of my lab now, we only surface touch on what you're an authority at and what you can charge. But the next level is me teaching you how much to charge and how to sell. So my thing is, let's create an offer that's an easy yes, and then get out there and sell it every day. So in the next phase, it's sales, sales, sales. It's filling in the gap between your one-on-one clients. And that's going to be 297 also. So that's the next phase.
Well, that is so interesting because I also have been harping to everybody about like, you guys, let's just make $100. I think about that
Yeah.
analogy, Gail, of a restaurant has the dollar bill taped on the counter. Like, let's become a paid coach, okay? Get paid for what you do because the first
Yes.
time people get paid, and I know you see it because you work with these people, it's like their identity changes. Like they become a different
Totally.
person.
Totally.
So I'm like,
Totally.
our only goal is to get you paid. I don't care what it
Yes.
is, how much you
Yes.
make. Just get paid so that we can get over that hump of receiving money and prove to yourself, oh, I actually coached somebody and I
Totally,
got paid.
totally,
Like I have a business now.
totally, totally. I fully believe that, and that's why I like starting with $100 offer. Because if you haven't been paid for your services or in your business before. Or even if you have, some people are still feel insecure about charging thousands. But you can say $100. Come spend an hour with me. It's $100. We'll solve this problem. And then after that, do you want to come again? Do you want more help? It does build your confidence so much once you get paid. And when you're in my lab, then you get invited to the membership, but you have to go through the lab. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to have the quiet to cash people come into the lab too, because the lab is called subscribed and selling. So it's getting subscribers, but also creating your offer and selling it. So these small containers, you can continue to work with me in the membership.
Oh, that is so good. I want to close by telling you about something I read this morning that fits
Oh,
right with our conversation. It's a new book, John Gordon, who is the author of a lot of books, but it was like many chapters that are like 2 pages, and it's about positive
oh,
thoughts. And today was about strengthening your strengths. And it was just 2 pages about leaning into your strengths. He shared this story about going to In-N-Out Burger to their corporate office doing a talk. And he said to the guy while he was getting ready to go on stage, and he said, "Hey, when are you guys going to do chicken sandwiches?" And the guy was like, "Chicken sandwiches? We do burgers here. We are always perfecting burgers." I don't want to be quoted because I'm not saying it exactly right, but he said, "Our guys who come in and work in the restaurant, they have to
mhm.
watch somebody make a burger, grill a burger for a year before they get to be the person to grill. They're apprentices.
Oh,
One
wow,
year."
yeah.
And he said, "We want to be the best at one thing, and that is burgers." And I was like, wow. His point was strengthening your strength. So many people are like, "I want to help with everything and I want to do everything." And if you get honed in on that one thing, on Substack, there is a place for you on that one thing. And with this new
Totally.
format of doing like 14-day or 21-day or 30-day program at a low entry point, you could literally be the person who teaches somebody how to knit in 14 days.
Yes, yes, thank you. Yes. There's so many opportunities that people don't realize. And I know along those lines, my strength is teaching. Like I love to teach and I have a very logical mind and I come up with ideas very quickly. I like the energy of quickly launching in and out. It's an in and out burger, like in and
Yeah,
out. Let me teach you, you get a skill, on to the next thing. So those three courses, the membership and then the subscribed and selling, the seen, heard, bankable, and the quiet to cash is my ecosystem.
it's
And then from there, strengthen all those things with me one-on-one when you want help and attention and mind shift because so many people
oh
need
yeah,
that, really need
yeah,
that. So
yeah.
I'm just excited. I'm excited that I decided to listen to my own intuition and to just be on this journey. And thank you for having me and thank you for joining the lab.
Gail, one thing you haven't mentioned is it's a list grower. And for
Right.
a lot of
Yes.
coaches who have nobody on an email list, it's a list grower. It's a way to stay in communication. It is a platform all in itself. I had a client because of your teaching for me, and you and I had a quick discussion
Hmm.
about it. Like a coach could go and that could be their first website. While it's not really a
Totally.
website,
Yeah.
it could be their storefront to start out, and it's free.
Yes.
It's free and it's
Totally.
also
Yes.
easy. There's no big tech curve to get on
Right.
it. You can have a
Right.
page, you can collect money through there, you send your weekly newsletters through there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable the opportunity that is there, and it's
For
free.
free.
Yeah, it's really something.
Yes, I call
So
it a business in a box
it
because
is.
for a newbie, it takes out all the decision making, it takes out all the process of learning new tech and setting all these things up. Because every time you post an article, it populates what looks like a website, but you can
Yeah.
add pages to it. There is a lot of flexibility with it.
Yeah, it really is unbelievable. And for everybody who is conscious about putting themselves out there, you can be on video, which I love. You can have a podcast, you can have short videos on there as well, but you can also write notes, which are like 4 sentences. And they don't have to be well crafted. In fact, the ones that are just like, as you coached me, Debbie, quit teaching. just start talking.
Yeah, it makes a difference because people start to see you as a friend,
Yeah.
like they really know me. And now it's blowing my mind. I have people get on calls with me and they're like, Gail, I want to be you. And I'm like, you what? They want to be me. No, we want you to be you. You just like some of my qualities, but people can tell me my whole story from the articles that I've written. I love that. You don't get that on traditional social media. You're not going to get
No.
that on Instagram or TikTok. People really feel like they know you. And I love
Yeah.
that.
So we will leave your TikTok. We haven't talked about TikTok, but I
Right.
kind of feel like I want to be the TikToker and the Substacker. That feels like the two places that are less formal, like less scripted. Gail, thank you for being my friend, for being my coach, and for being our
You're
guest.
welcome.
Tell us in the comments, you guys, what it is that you're going to do on Substack. What are you going to talk about on Substack? When you're going to get started, and we'll connect with you for sure. Thanks again, Gail.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you.